appreciate you, and we know we're going to have a lot of fun. To everyone who is participating, do know that you are on mute. And if you do have questions, you can enter those into the chat box, and we make sure that we're going to get those for you. We will have a recording that will go out within 24 hours after the webinar. But I do also want you to tweet it out, share what you're seeing and learning, I hope, from our webinar today with the hashtag #OurDaily, so we can share that information, and also you can put questions there on Twitter as well. That being said, I think we should just jump on into it. Now, we're going to start out with this creepy one. I swear they're not all bad. William and Ryan is here amongst our guests.
Yeah, you know, I want to start with the price. I like. I have to admit, I like that salary is noted in this job ad. $1 USD. Not sure why that would be anything other than that, but that's 100 pennies. But it's important to have salary information contained within the job ad, so I like that. I think that's good.
Well, why do they're not even hung when you do this?
Yeah, no, they don't need to. You know, that really, it's I will pay you, because this person is clearly trying to build up an arsenal of images of noodles, people in noodles, and while people are wearing a bathing suit. So, you know, it's clear to me that this person knows exactly the type of person that they're trying to attract, which again, I guess, is a part of the bit, right? When you're trying to attract somebody and you're building a job ad, you have to kind of visualize the person, the intended audience, if you will. What do you want that audience to be, and what do you want them to experience?
Ryan, would you apply? Well, you're not a woman, so I guess you can't.
I don't know if I have any comments on this one. I'm just looking at the noodles because it's lunchtime on the East Coast, and I haven't had lunch.
We're all hungry, and this is that again. There's yet another kind of an aspect to unwind, a layer to peel, if you will. Is what if this ad was published purposely during the times in which people would eat? Like, are you hungry? Like, are you driving more people? It's like, okay, automatically, I'm going to drive more people because they're starving. I'm going to put it out at dinner time, at breakfast, brunch, for some of the people that care about brunch. Lunchtime, like right now, I'm starved, and all I'm thinking about is ramen noodles.
I know. As a side note, to our guests and visitors, this is a little bit on the extreme side, but I should preface before I jumped into it by letting people know that the team hasn't seen a lot of these ads on purpose, so it could just be open and clear to you. And also, there are going to be some videos, so don't let that scare any of you.
Yeah. So Jackye, the thing here is there's clarity in this job ad. While it is maybe not something for everyone, there's clarity here. It takes the person through something very clear. I will not be home. You will need to bring your own outfit. Things will be slippery. Like, what I like about that, I mean, is it's taking people through a procession. And so you can visualize it. And so job ads, you know, the best job ads for me are the ones that both attract the right people and repel the wrong people. So like you said to Ryan just a second ago, Ryan, you're a guy, it might not apply to you. Well, that's good, actually, because that's a job ad well crafted, because men should not apply. Like, you could have even made that even more clear, like bold, underline, maybe the little symbol for men or whatever that is. Like, don't apply. If you have a thingamabob, don't apply. Not for you. We don't want to see you in noodles. You have a noodle, don't want to see you in noodles. You know, the whole bit. Like, it should have been clear.
It is very specific.
Right.
And it repelled me. It was good. So I am not the right one for this job.
See, but the thing is somebody is. So take it at its worst. What if only 5 people apply to this job? Is that a bad thing? What if it is repelled, all men, done, check, check, and women that just don't see themselves in a bathtub of noodles? Okay, so that group of that segment, if you will, I don't know where trans, I don't know where that lies here, but okay, so women that don't see themselves in noodles, okay, they're not going to apply. 5 people apply to that. Do y'all think it's an effective job ad?
Yes,
I
they're the
do.
right people.
Right? So I think that's one of the things that the audience you take away from something is kind of is something stark as this. Is when you look at job ads, you have to look at them from a perspective of who are you trying to get to apply? What's success? What's the bid? And if the bid is to try and get 10,000 people to apply to a job, which, you know, whether or not I like it or not, let's just kind of be honest with each other. Sometimes that is the goal. Whether or not we want to go public with that and tweet that out, sometimes that's actually what we're trying to do because we want to tell other people we had 10,000 people to apply to a job. Well, in that case, you would make things more generic so that more people feel like they could do the job. This thing has repelled at every sentence, like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 sentences they've repelled people.
So Dan,
Right?
so we're not the only one loving the job description. Dan, I just got your tweet here, Dan, from Dan Laux, at Bullion Fool. Yeah, I never thought I'd listen to people discuss sitting in noodles with such seriousness and sincerity at such length. Right? So I mean, look, here's the deal. Job descriptions are job descriptions. I mean, I haven't seen them, so this is the first go here. So I'm with you, Dan. But I mean, look, in the end, job description's a job description, good, bad, indifferent. You know, the creepy ones or not. If it works, it works. And yeah, I'm with you, William. We can sit here and dissect this one all day. It's clear. It's to the point. It's very descriptive. You know, maybe a little awkward and creepy, like you said, but hey, in the end.
Is there a favorite repelling statement in this job ad for either of you?
For me, it's I will pay you $1. Start with that.
That's actually 5 words in. I will pay for 5 words in, and they've already set the stage for salary or comp, if you will. Okay, so you don't have to get 5 words in, which, by the way, Tim Sackett presented last week at Career Builders Empower on Google for Jobs. And one of the things he's learned in his research as Google gets more into the jobs market is that salary information is critical in terms of rankings. And I know that Indeed has some data around this as well. And so the deal is if you have 2 job ads and one has salary information and one doesn't, the one with salary information is going to perform higher and at a better rate than the one that doesn't. Now, we've kind of always intuitively thought that and probably even known that, but we're getting to an era where we're not going to be able to get away with kind of genericizing things or being less transparent. And even though we're having fun with this noodle thing, 5 words in, it's set comp. my favorite bit on all of it is the second phrase, I will not be home. not sure why that tickles me so much, but I kind of like the fact that they're saying no, you have this time alone in the noodles. We're going to go ahead and let you have that. I will not be there for you, which actually makes it a little bit less creepy on some levels. That there's not somebody with a bunch of lights and, you know, the whole bit while you're in the noodles. So, anyhow, that's my favorite part.
Are y'all ready to move on?
Let's do it. It's all uphill from here.
That's right. So, I found this to be exceptionally interesting. It literally tells you hell. Oh.
Yeah, this is kind of reminiscent of some of the job ads that go after creatives that basically said the reason they make it so junky and clunky that the reason we need you is because, well, look, you know, we suck at this. So it's kind of playing on the motif of we're terrible at creative and we need you. God forbid we need someone to actually come in and straighten the house. They just didn't go far. For me, they didn't go far enough. Like it almost looks like they were trying.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know, nothing says outdated like fax your resume, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they want both in Arabic and English. Not sure why that is. Doesn't I'm sure there's a reason. Maybe it's based on the audience. But like, this is one of those things where when you start a bit, you got to go all the way in. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to go and do a bit like this, because this is just a way of putting art in front of somebody and getting them to react. That's all it is. This is art. You're trying to create. You're trying to create an emotion in the audience. So you're trying to get creatives to then look at it and go, "Oh, here's the things I'd do. Here's what I would change. Here's how I would make it better." For the people that aren't creative, you're not really talking to them.
Yeah, I actually like this one. I don't know. I mean, I would love to actually get the response on this. I don't know if there's still a link there, Jackye, wherever you got this. I like it. You know, like you said, at first you don't get it, but this is a creative ad, and you know, to me, it's specific enough. It's calling out the issue. It's letting people know what it is, to an extent, on what they're going to do. Frankly, if you look through all the crap there, I think it's a good posting here, a good ad.
Well, when I read it at first, I thought, oh, that's cute and creative. But then the second thing I thought was that, you know, I think this person is hiring their replacement because it doesn't sound like they can handle it, quite frankly. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good fit.
Right. So here's a couple different ways that you could have made that better. The who, what, where, when, and why. Right. So your job ads are telling a story, and while this one's creative, you can still get to the bit. Like I would have done this ad, all of the text, I would have done it in Latin, and then mixed in the who, what, where, when, and why in between the Latin sentences, just to further, because everyone that does creative understands that when you're putting dummy text in something, you put in the Latin text as a placeholder.
Right.
So why not just do that in Latin? Do the whole two paragraphs in Latin and mix in the elements that are important. The who, what, where, when, and why. And salary, again, I'll kind of beat that to death. But, yeah. You know, again, salary information for creatives is just as important as it is for software engineers.
So let's stick to the salary real quick. I'm going to take it back to a real, well, maybe not so sane, but so we've got a couple people said, that's gross. You Texans are so twisted. Well, I'm from Philadelphia. I'm a Philly guy, so that's a Dallas man for you.
That's a fair statement.
Comment says, it's nice he's looking out for their safety, noting that the neuters are slippery. I agree, Lindsay. But we actually do have a question here on one from Blue Stone. Will Google rank job postings higher on the list if they have salary info? Ironically, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, according to Tim Sakic, and you know, we can get a rendering from Austin with Indeed, because he probably knows that as well. But according to Tim last week at Career Builders, kind of their conference, if you will, he was doing a presentation on just Google for Jobs and just kind of breaking it down for people, because you know everyone's kind of interested to learn a little bit more about what's going on there. And his whole bit was on how salary information to Google is more important than job ads without it. And obviously, Tim can take you into that and give you a little bit more depth, but maybe Austin can give us, you know, the Indeed part of it as well.
All right, well, let's take a look at the next one. Are you ready?
Ready. Let's do it. Oh. Silence.
It's just...
I'll start off with, I've never seen Star Wars, so there you go.
What?
Yeah, no, I never have. And if you go back on the Facebook threads, you'll see where I've admitted that I've never seen Star Wars, and there was a few hundred comments calling me a loser. So,
well, so you know, again, it's kind of, even for the folks that don't follow or don't care about Star Wars, it's Darth Vader represents two different things. So the irony is they're trying to make this simple, like you know, join us or die, right? But Darth Vader was both dark and light. Towards the end of it, actually, at the very end of his light, he was light. So who are we joining? Like, are we joining the Darth Vader of the first Star Wars or the fourth Star Wars? Or are we joining the Darth Vader of the sixth Star Wars? And it's not clear. And again, it's playing with metaphors, not going far enough. It's like this person wanted to be creative, but didn't want to go too far. So they throw up an image of Darth Vader, of course, not really knowing exactly which Darth Vader you're dealing with. Join us or die, very obtuse statement. And then everything else within that, underneath that, is all, stuff that you'd cut and copy off of something else.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, like if you're going to play with a metaphor like Star Wars, which is cool. I mean, it could be Star Wars, it could be Star Trek, it could be any of those things as a metaphor for us versus them. Go all the way. Because again, if you're trying to attract that audience, they're going to care about the details. They're going to actually, if you're trying to get people that cared about dress up as Darth Vader, whatever, if you're trying to go after that crowd, the text down below is actually going to work against you. Like you'd want to mix in historical references to Darth Vader.
And then it immediately says looking for a flexible and fun internship with an internet marketing company. Like I don't. That doesn't sound like it's fun, and I thought seemed like a challenge. Like we were going to go do something, we were going to fight something funly and.
That's right. Yeah, that sounds like the die part. So what's funny is it's like, let's join us. We're going to do some cool stuff. Okay, yeah, I'm down for that. Ride or die. And then the die part is like looking for a flexible and fun internship with an internet marketing is both capitalized. Not sure that that's supposed to be that way. Internet marketing company. Like, well, there's nothing fun about that. That actually is now worse than that is to the internship crowd. These are people in college, right out of college, etc. Is this does not state paid internship, and the fail there is that you've got a bunch of people actually looking at this space of paid internships being illegal, actually, and so whether or not they are or not, where you are on that spectrum doesn't matter to me. Point is that you wouldn't get the interns that you wanted to get with this campaign because you don't say paid internship.
Well, and they say that you're going to learn to develop banner ads and campaigns, but obviously they didn't develop this, right? It's just a picture. It's nothing. That they,
yeah, it's not. I mean, it's just not. It's not creatively pleasing. It's just an image they pulled off Google, dropped it in, sized it. So, what are you going to learn from these guys? That's kind of how I would look at it.
Yeah, if this is good, so you've got two. There's bookends here. The front is flexible and fun, and the back end is the best time you can imagine. So does this, either imagery or the text, does it fulfill on that? You've set some pretty high expectations in the text. You've set expectations to anybody that you're either trying to attract or trying to repel. You've set some expectations, yet you've fulfilled on none of them. And I mean, there's nothing I like about this job ad. There's nothing that actually works. For me, if you're going to use a metaphor, cats, clowns, whatever, if you're going to use a metaphor, go all the way. There is no half step in here. Go all the way and have fun with it.
Now check this out.
Hi, my name is Robin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of All Famous Digital, and today I'm looking for you. We're looking for a customer success manager to join our Manila office. Basically, the job has two parts to it. Part is project manager, so you'll actually need to quarterback our digital team to make sure they deliver on time and to quality specifications. On the other side, it's really about client relationship management. So at the end of the day, our clients love us, and it's all thanks to you. It's not an easy job, trust me. So there's 5 parts to this job. Firstly, you must be awesome with people, both Filipinos and foreigners. Second, you must love technology. Third, you must have a great eye for art, copy, and data. Fourth, you must be so organized it's annoying. Fifth, you mustn't be afraid to make mistakes. Ideally, you'd have some background in digital marketing and some background in client servicing. But honestly, I can train anyone on how to do this. You'll be reporting directly to me, and I'll be able to provide you full training in Salesforce technology so you can become certified and potentially use that as a way to travel the world. This is really the best position open in Manila for digital marketers right now, I promise you. So please don't hesitate any longer. Go to www.allfamous.com/apply and send your resume and a brief note on why you'd love to work with me. I really hope you apply.
I'll go first. First of all, I like it a lot. It's deeply personal. The only things that I would twist or change about this is I don't like the background. It's a little weird, creepy, and maybe that's normal for wherever the hell he is. It kind of looks like he's in Vietnam, and he's got like some type of cover, camo cover above him, so that the planes don't know where he's located. I don't like that. So I'm big on background. I don't like the lighting. He looks creepy. He's kind of looking off camera like at a script, which isn't as personal as I would like it. But I don't like the background. That's my first thing. The last thing is at the very end with the link. It's a generic link. He just went through this whole bit, you know, a minute and a half of making something deeply personal. Didn't mention salary. Don't like that. But then he sends people to a generic link like, oh, okay, go to info at some. Yeah, that you just got me to this place, and now you went depersonal on me.
For me, I didn't like him looking down at me. It was like he's literally looking down at whoever he's.
I think that's all in your head, Jackye.
You think? No, maybe it's my chair.
I'm with you on that, Jackye. You know, we've done a ton of these over when I was with IBM, and success rate through the roof. I mean, with no doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, minor things, right? The background, creepy. I get it. I see where he's at. I mean, certainly eye level would be much, much better. I like to see a little bit more personalization in the beginning of the video, you know, rather than just talking about the job. You know, maybe I don't know where they're using the video, but if they're using it in some type of an email or some type of a, you know, one-to-one reach out, whether it's 1 to 5,000, but, you know, making it one-to-one, starting it off a little differently, wanting to talk to you about this, you know, that type of thing, and depends on how they're using it. But other than what you said, William, you know, the link in the end, things like that, minor things. This is good.
Yeah,
agreed. I like it.
So in this one, they're looking for an interactive developer. And right from the beginning, for me, when we're talking about where people drop off, and maybe it's on purpose or maybe not, but it says we're a young creative energy, young in more ways than one. We're 5 years old, 30 employees, average, under 30 years of age. I'm done as a applicant, but also I'm kind of done with the company. Does that make sense? You know, a lot of people who are applying for these jobs, we have to have the mindset that they're actually customers as well. And when I saw it, just, you know, my mouth was agape.
Yeah, I got two things. It's with first of all, a young creative agent. It's 5 years old. It's not that young. Now, if they're playing off the word young lies in millennial, then, you know, just why not say that? You know, our leadership, you know, are in their 30s. Things like that. Like, what are we trying to attract? Are we trying to attract an agency that caters and is run by women? But the color scheme, it plays more towards feminine than masculine. Okay, so are you trying to attract more women for a women-owned and operated firm, which is great, or are you trying to attract women because you're a creepy guy, and that's your bit? And so I want that to be clearer. I don't like the party time stuff. Even though ad agencies, PR agencies, marketing agencies kind of play that up as work hard, play hard stuff, I don't think that the photos can kind of get you there. I don't think we have to have party time. So I just want some more kind of clarity around what's the intended audience. If you're trying to attract people that are under 30, I think they're doing a decent job at that, but I think they need to go further. And again, salary, getting a little bit more specific in the second paragraph with what they need, skills that they need to come to the table for. I like that. I think the more that you do that, again, you're trying to attract and or repel. So the more you do that, the better you're going to be able to do both sides of that. So it doesn't kill me, but I'm not attracted to it either.
Yeah, I'm not so attracted to it. What I would like to see better here is, And again, I like that second paragraph. I think it could be a little more detailed, but I don't think it necessarily needs to. In my opinion, I think the right person is gonna capture that person. They're gonna get it. Color-wise, scheme, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, obviously they're looking to attract, I think, a younger woman. But so I'm not their target. But even so, if I was their target, I don't think if I'm a 30-year-old woman or a 25-year-old woman, I don't think the drinking and party pictures, blowing bubbles necessarily does it for me. No, I'm not a woman. I can't say it. I mean, in my opinion, I just don't think that does it for me. I think it cheapens the actual career itself.
Well, I think that there's too much emphasis these days on, oh, it's a party atmosphere. But we've got work to do, right? I mean, at some point, no, even if your job is a party planner, you have work to do. So I always want to keep those things in mind as well. Now, this background wasn't part of it, but this was an actual ad where it says at the end, it requires responsibilities of a receptionist, so female candidates are preferred. And you'll be shocked at some of these as they come up that these actually still exist.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, this is the hard part here is, if there is a preference, I want to know why. Like what are we really saying there? Because I think as a woman, I'd want to know, like, what's the bit? What are you trying to? Is this because you want someone that's friendly and attractive at the front door? Is that it? While I don't like that as a male, and I think it's borderline illegal. Yeah, right. Because I'd still like to know. So I don't like the statement just kind of being there. I think you could just. I think it's wrong to have it there, so I would have it struck from the actual job ad. And if that's your bit, maybe explaining that to people, or just not thinking that thought would be even a better way to go about it. Is like, what does it really matter if the person's competent? What does it really matter what gender they are?
I agree. Brian, any thoughts before we move to the next one?
No, I don't like it at all.
Knowledge of Russian a plus. That was the interesting thing for me on that one. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just moved over to this one. And this is current. This is a current ad. Now I'm not a weed spraying tree control person, but it looks like they've had a bad experience in the past. But it's another example of of people where I think it's kind of borderline illegal. Not real sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's illegal. It's just improper. This is one of those things. It's like you can think the thought, you don't have to say the thought. So yeah, you want people that don't reek of BO. Okay, like I think we would probably all agree with that. Done. However, does it need to end up in a job ad? And so what I would look at, it screams to me small business. Someone didn't have the ability to go, yep, great thought, don't write that down, don't have that in a job ad. That kind of falls into the common sense folder. So I just don't think that everything that you think of in every bad experience that you've had needs to make it to the job ad.
I totally agree with that. I like what stood out. One of the things that stood out is when it says, "Don't complain to us. We don't listen and we don't care." At least they're setting the expectation.
The last paragraph is literally the funniest paragraph that we've seen so far.
Yeah. No. Up until that last paragraph, it's not. I don't think. I think the wording could be different, right? Rather than the bullet points, be prepared, be prepared. I don't have an issue with the premise behind the last paragraph. I see what they're trying to do there, from being funny and obviously setting the tone and really.
Oh no, I don't think they're being funny. I don't think they're trying to be.
I think they're being serious, and I think they've had a bad experience with other employees.
So here's how you would read this. If you know, to go to the sentence, you need to be of a stature that you can walk around the hills and bluffs. That's actually what that's doing, is it's telling fat people, do not apply.
Yep.
Right? So again, none of us like that stuff. Whether or not we have weight or don't have weight, none of us like that stuff. It's alienating, and it's not language that you'd like to have in there. What I think they could have done there, to just say, here's a typical day in the life. Let us paint you a picture of what happens in a day in the life. Typical day in the life, 8 o'clock. Walk a person through the day in the life, and then whether or not you're fat or you're not, or you're in physical fit or you're not, or you're a marathoner or not, you can either see yourself and visualize yourself in the job or not. But it doesn't say don't apply if you're not this way. It just says, here's the job. Here's the day, typical day in the life. And if you can see yourself and visualize stuff, well, we want to talk to you. If you can't, okay, cool.
Yeah, clearly this isn't, you know, a big box company, right? Obviously, it's a small mom and pop shop, couple person company. When I get down to that last line, I really don't have an issue with this one. You know, if it sounds like you, then you're probably completely mad, and we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Right.
I have no issue with this. Honestly, I mean, I don't necessarily, you know, it's not, wouldn't be good for a big company. Not saying it's great for a small company, but frankly, it sets the tone for the right person. And if this is you and you fit in, then they're probably going to have a good employee, and they're going to get along, go have some beers afterwards. I think that's kind of what they're going for here.
Agreed.
That's it.
Nice. At first, yeah.
I'll if this attracts you, then we should probably not ever meet in public. I'll just say it. I'll just say it as that simple, because this is beyond basic, and the music is terrible, the video quality is terrible. Anyone that's attracted to some white guy playing ping pong with himself, I just don't. There's nothing to this. It's almost like shot from somebody in 8th grade. I'm pretty sure I've got a 11-year-old. I'm pretty sure I can show this to Henry, my 11-year-old, and he would do a better job than what we're looking at here. Again, if you're trying to attract somebody, you're trying to repel somebody, what does this do? It does nothing. Says nothing, does nothing. It's terrible. Should have never been made.
Yeah.
And, you know, we push. There are a lot of different mediums out there, right? Like, if you're gonna do a video, you have to have a point somewhere, and it have to be encouraging somewhere, even if it's just repelling, right? Even if you know that you still make a statement. This makes absolutely zero statement at all.
Was there something more with this ad, Jackye, or was it just the video?
Well, I mean, we didn't get, if you're going to do it in this style and you're by yourself, show us the office, show us the logo, show us what the company actually does. I know it's not a ping pong table company. Like, really get into it. I just think that even if you wanted to do a style where it's one person walking through an office, walk through the whole office so you can get a feel, because we can't even tell, you know, and it's dark, and to me it looks like the guy's lonely. I don't want to, you know.
Yeah, he's up there late at night. Him and his buddies just finished a couple beers. They've been tasked with creating a job ad, and this is what they came up with. So it's, again, if you're going to be abstract, like, you know, then be abstract. Like, have some abstract music. Do something really abstract, like having this kid on a skateboard, laying down, shooting the entire office, and then doing something personal. Like, that's pretty abstract. But this wasn't abstract. It was basic. And, you know, I mean, basic not in a good way or an attractive way. Basic as in no one we know would apply to this company. They would have a negative brand experience. So why create stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, I also think for people that are making these videos, like, this is out and stale, that music, and that we're moving on to the next one. So if you're creating one with those types of, that type of music with the background and the warehouse, that's moving out and getting overlooked now. You're gonna have to get a little bit more creative. All right. So, I don't understand. Again, I guess this attracts. This must. I'm wondering if it's working. I didn't have a chance to talk to them and see if they actually have hired from this, but you know, it says apply now because chances are no one else will. Would you, William?
No, no,
Ryan?
not at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, I see the play, but you know, again, I think this is someone who's trying to be creative. Not, it's just not happening for me here. I think it could be a little different. Wait,
Yeah, I mean, first of all,
let me ask this.
yeah.
Is the ad on the paper, or was the pig part of the ad?
No, the pig wasn't part of the ad.
Ah, gotcha.
Just the paper.
Yeah.
So the thing is who associates themselves with crap? And then the like, really think about this. You're trying to attract creative people. Creative people, by their very nature, think of their own work as at least good. Okay, no one creates something to then go, yeah, I'm master of the art of creating crap. They create something that's good, if not great, if not genius. So they think of themselves and their creative properties in that way. Who's going to associate with crap? What creative, like, what person are you attracting? If you're attracting a creative that associates themselves with crap, like, you're using the wrong words, you know, to attract somebody that you want. You want a creative being that creates good stuff, yet you're trying to attract them by using the wrong words. And it's know thy audience. I mean, so much of it is just basic stuff, but it's what is the audience you really want to enable to then take the call to action and then to apply to the job or visit the site or whatever the bid is. What are you trying to do? What are the levers in iconography, in imagery, in tone, in verbiage? Like, what is the things that you're pulling to then get the action you want? I see crap in the first sentence. If I'm a creative, I've already moved on to the next ad.
It's also kind of scary because I feel like that's how they're going to treat you working there. Like
Yeah. Well, no, they've already told you that. Because if you know, you're going to create crap. You are crap. We're going to treat you like crap. Like, crap is everything. It's the first thing. It's the first part of the value sentence. Crap. Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, unless this were for you know, like a waste company. Like you're going out, you know, if you're going out and doing something for a waste company and you want to play off crap, yeah, I can see that working. Other than that, you shouldn't use the word crap ever.
Sorry, I went on to the next one.
Crap.
This is just copy pasted a piece from the description. And again, it looks like one of those where they had a bad experience and just threw it all up on the screen. Threw it all up in the ad.
That's exactly what it is. We should put a name on this. I'm going to call this person Billy.
Okay.
This is Billy right here. Billy, first of all, Billy, do not apply. We had a bad experience with you. And anybody else that's like Billy in these, you know, 8 run-on sentences that are terribly put together, Billy, don't ever apply. And if you look like, feel like, smell like, interact like Billy, just don't apply. Which, again, if you're repelling, there's a benefit to things like this. But again, I think you can do this in a day in the life. You can get to this story. This is much like the one before, where you can get to this content.
Are you against repelling in a job description, or do you prefer
Oh,
that?
no, I love repelling. In fact, I actually think that most job ads are written to attract too many people. So I'm actually on the other end of the spectrum. I think your job ad should only attract about 10 people. But it should be the right 10 people because you've repelled everyone else.
Right.
But I think the language and the way that we repel is you just give them more and more data on what is actually expected of them, a day in the life, so that they either see themselves in that role and aspire to be in that role, or they don't.
So
go ahead.
A lot of these seem to come from a smaller company, right, where there's no rules, regulation. Well, I guess there are rules, but internally they just don't care, right? This is what we're putting out there. So I've got a question. I mean, job descriptions or job ads from a corporate company. They'll give you, they could if they prefer, right? They can give you 3 pages of details around the job, but everything sounds beautiful. Not all the time, but the idea sounds friendly and fun and encompassing and welcoming. Isn't this a better, I mean, obviously it's a better approach, we agree on that it's repelling people, but is this a small company not caring to be friendly and just saying this is the person we truly want and it works for them? So
well, but here's the thing: if you paint a picture and the picture is like this one's painting a really negative, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this type stuff, and we all agree this is a bad experience. It's Billy done. But if you go the opposite direction and you paint a positive experience, the only downside to painting a positive experience is you better back it up. You better actually do that, because that's what you'll be judged on. So the only thing I advise when people do job ads there is like, we're going to tell a great story about what we're doing, how we're doing it, our values, basically painting a more positive job ad, which is great. Done, love it. Better make sure that all of that stuff is true. If you say that your values are integrity, or one of them is integrity, and in the first week it's shown to the person that there is no integrity, then you've just lost that person and you've wasted everyone's time. So I think I like positive. I would err on the side of making sure that it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I take issue with a certain thing that you said, Ryan, because you said that they were all small companies, and I think
how do we know?
I don't think that they're all small companies, and I think we're in a different time now than maybe when I started recruiting and all of the job descriptions had to go through HR. Now people are doing them independently.
Agreed.
And you don't know, you might not realize if you don't have the right format or you don't have something clear cut, you can see ads anywhere, and they're just trying to get people in.
I agree. It's more like in the software world, we call that rogue adoption. In the hiring world, you'd call it rogue hiring, where everything used to be centralized. And in big companies, I'd say certain companies, it is probably more centralized. But, if you're out there on a line and you've got somebody that's, you've got an opening that's been there for 6 months, you're going to go try and find a way to fill it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go and do the normal stuff through the HR and recruiting departments. You might go out, put something on Craigslist, and just try and get some resumes and get people to apply. I agree with Jackye. I think that happens more than we care to admit.
And when you're new in your career too, this could have been an email directly from the hiring manager with no intention for it to be in a job description at all whatsoever.
Right.
They were telling the recruiter that.
Yeah, this wouldn't get past HR. Corporate HR. anyone with 3 years of experience and maybe a certification or 2 under their belt, this would never make it out. They would have a red pen. Maybe 3 words would make it out of this thing. This ad would never make it out. Not if it was corporate HR.
Absolutely not. All right, moving on. So this again was a real ad that they wanted a copywriter, but they don't want a copywriter. I think it goes back to what you were saying about how we have to have more details of exactly what we're trying to do within the job.
Yeah. You could do so much stuff with copywriters. I mean, for those that don't know what a copywriter does, take it to this state. You have 23 words that can convey a concept. A copywriter takes the 23 words and makes it 13, and then takes the 13 words and makes it 6. Takes 6 words and makes it 3. Takes the 3 words and makes it 1. That's what a great copywriter does. That's the bit. For all senior copywriters, that's their life. They're experts in words. They're experts in taking large concepts and bringing it down and making it, Nike, just do it. Well, if we were to go into that, what we would have learned is just do it was probably a run-on sentence with about 40 different words. And a copywriter took that all the way down. So this does nothing. I mean, it's a wonderful art form. And it's an exciting art form, and it's filled with people that understand words and language and concepts in a different way, and this does nothing but just crap all over it. And And so again, this is not a copywriter that wrote this. That's the worst part of this bit, is a copywriter didn't write the copywriting ad. Because who are you going to attract? You're going to attract copywriters. If you don't have a copywriter writing it, you won't attract them. So
keep looking for a copywriter.
this was cut and copied. I guarantee. Yes, they will continue to look, or they're going to look for someone so young, so new that they have no idea what copywriting is. This was cut and copied off of somebody else's job ad. And whether or not it was Monster or Indeed or Career Builder or somebody else, it doesn't really matter. Someone went in and basically cut someone else's job ad, replaced it, put a couple other words in there, and it's done.
As a side note, as we're winding down, we only have 15 more minutes. If you do have questions, make sure to put those in the sidebar. We will get to them, I promise. 15 seconds. Again with that music, it's killing me. I cannot take that music. It's on every ad, by the way.
I like it. I got no problem with this one. This is something I'd see on you see this on Facebook and a sponsored video ad or something to that effect, right? I mean,
Ryan might not be right or wrong here. At first, I panned it, but who are you trying to attract? You're trying to attract people that want to make stay-at-home money. And people that are trying to do this isn't going to attract a corporate person, and nor is it trying to. So I kind of have to agree with Ryan. Even though I don't like the dog, don't like the music, I actually don't like anything in it. It's not for me, and that might actually be an indicator that they got it right. Who watches cat videos? You know. The internet exists because of porn, gambling, and travel. However, YouTube exists for cat videos. That's it. That's why YouTube exists. So would I be inspired to see a dog looking at something with crappy music playing in the background? No, of course not. But someone would, and I think the audience that you're trying to attract probably would.
I do like that they're short. I did try to find videos that were different but short.
Yeah, that's mostly a thank God, really. That's just, I couldn't handle another 30 seconds of that, is really what you're saying. But yeah, I got it.
15 seconds. This is a good YouTube ad type of thing, right?
Yeah.
5 second, kind of like the Geico ones. You know, they got smart and they said, we don't need 30-second ads. I need 4-second, 5-second ads.
That's right.
Races, so.
Well, it's also our attention span. I mean, that's more or less. This is kind of leaning. We're all leaning in this direction, over caffeinated, and we all have either some form of ADD or ADHD. And so, 15 seconds. We're going to fast forward another couple of years, and it's going to be 3 seconds.
Yep,
that's true. That is absolutely true. So I want to breeze through a couple of these things.
What the hell?
Well, now. There's these things where there was a survey that was done. Women like to want to fill 100% of the job requirements before they'll apply, and men on average want 60%, and they'll apply for the job. But I don't see that you could even have anyone at 60%. These are the desired skills and experience.
Yeah, this is someone that really doesn't know what they're doing, and the main reason I can say that is these are all breadth and depth issues. So you take any one of these, take Java, just as a simple one. Java is a breadth and depth. Do we want someone that has worked in Java for 5 years and worked consistently in Java, so they have a depth to them and they have a length to them? Or do we want someone that's worked on one Java project, so they have an idea of what Java is? Not necessarily a command, but an idea, a cursory understanding or knowledge of. So these are all best set against skill testing applications, assessments. So you could go in here and talk about the technical knowledge and what we're really trying to find in the individual, and then really route them to an e-techie or something like that that basically does skill testing, and then you'll know all the breadth and depth stuff. You'll know exactly what they can and can't do. You'll get to the breadth and depth, but not with a bunch of acronyms that literally, I saw somebody's LinkedIn LinkedIn presentation one time where a software engineer put a bunch of fake acronyms in their LinkedIn profile, just because they wanted people to then start asking him about the different fake acronyms. Like, I see that you're an expert at, whatever, and it's just a bit. I think technical people understand that this is buzzword bingo. I think recruiters that do technical recruiting understand that this is buzzword bingo. This was written by a non-technical recruiter.
It looks like someone took what they called the perfect resume, and this was like the first paragraph in those old resumes. Remember when you used to add all this stuff in there? And it looks like they just copy and pasted that off of somebody's direct resume to me.
Right.
Hey Jackye, we had a couple of questions come through, and one from Allison I think is good. We maybe spend the last couple minutes on this, guys. Can you share ideas on how to beef up basic job descriptions and get limited job descriptions to be more exciting? What words to include to increase Google rankings, and words to use to speak to the job seeker?
Say that again.
On that. So, can you share ideas on how to beef up basic job descriptions, how to get limited job descriptions to be more exciting, and what words should be included to increase Google rankings?
I think go ahead. I was going to say, I think the big thing is to take, to William's point that he's made, is taking you through like a day in the life of what somebody is actually doing. And I think you have to have a good understanding of what they're going to be able to create, or what they are trying to, through their job, what's the purpose of their job to actually, and the more you write with better descriptions, it'll help with your SEO performance as well.
Yeah, again, you can game SEO. There's all kinds of different ways to game SEO. The problem, like that last one with all the buzzwords, that probably does a decent job gaming SEO. Problem is you're going to get a bunch of people that land on it and then go, yeah, this is dumb. So you need to put salary information, even if you don't want to, you should. That's going to help you. That's one. Two, the words there's an appropriateness to the firm, the position, and to the hiring manager. So the words that you use are all nice screens that go back to what is this corporate, what are they about? What words would they use? What would the hiring manager use? What words are important to them? What is the job? And what can we do in the job, and use words that are of the job? And give people more clarity into the job. The more you give people clarity into the job, the more you'll get the right people to apply to your jobs. Now again, I'm not solving for quantity, I'm solving for quality, which there's different drivers for those.
Any other questions? What other questions, Ryan?
Let me see what we have.
It's the fastest land animal.
Yeah, what is that? To me, what makes a good job ad, I honestly don't know. I don't know that any job ad has really ever caught my attention. I'm more of a say not even video, but it's just something a little more personal, something outside the normal text-based job description will do it for me. I'm not into infographics. I don't think infographics are the way to go. I think there's different ways. I forget who asked that question. Sorry.
Ryan, I'll go against you just for a moment, if you don't mind. I think there's a context to the job. So an infographic, if I were hiring a creative designer to build infographics, that would be the only way that I would present a job to them. Sure. Is it actually in an infographic? So there's an appropriateness on all of these, as long as you use the right tool. Like when we talked about copywriters, having a copywriter write the job description and job ad, yeah, kind of basic. As you well know, that a lot of people don't do that. If we're hiring a photographer, to not have wonderful imagery and iconography and photography in a job ad is dumb. So there's an appropriateness. Now, would I do a visual image like that, or a resume for someone that's not a photographer? Well, no. I look at that as, how do we solve for this specific job? and what's the iconography, the wording, and how do I make it most appropriate to the people we're trying to attract? So, sorry, Ryan.
No, you said it much better than I.
So it's because I'm
Bow
eloquent.
down to the must.
Shit.
I think the biggest issue that people have is that we just get rushed. You know, we can't rush ourselves through this process because building it out the correct way, as you said, is either going to repel or attract. And I think one thing to always keep in mind is that you can't always take the hiring manager's word for it. I always use what they give me as a guide. Maybe it's a job description that they sent before or something like that. And then the next step is to go to the people who are actually doing the work and having a conversation. This is what Bill says you're going to do.
So there's a couple of things in there I'd like to split. One is the job description. The way that we use the words job description and job ads, please understand that these are two different things. The job description is an internal document that describes the job and what is to be done in the job. The job ad is an advertisement trying to get people to apply to said job. These are two different things. There have always been two different things, and just because we use them synonymously doesn't make them synonymous. The job description is a much, much longer document that deals with competencies and capabilities and skills and all that other muckety-muck HR stuff. A job ad is an ad that gets people to apply to a job. So in anything in basic and advertising, what do you have to do to manipulate the audience? And manipulate in this instance is not a bad thing. It's manufacturing people to do the call to action. What do you have to do in your advertisement to then get people to take the call to action? That's that game. The job advertising game is a very simple game, but it doesn't. It has a relationship with a job description, but it is not verbatim the job description. So good point to actually separate these two things out, because I think people probably think that they're the same things, and they're not.
No, if you go online looking for a job, it is a marketing piece.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's to evoke an emotion. Ryan mentioned the Geico ads earlier. That's a great example. They're trying to evoke an emotion. They're trying to get you to take the bit. The bit for them is, come to our website and fill out the thing, and we're going to tell you whether or not we're better or someone else is better. That's their bit. In 15 minutes, we can save you 15 or less. Done. Like, that's their bit. They're not trying to say all the different things that makes Geico, relevant or important or great, which would be kind of more the job description stuff. So as you kind of look at these worlds, when a hiring manager gives you a job description, it's actually your job to then figure out, okay, how do I market this job? How do I effectively market this job? What do I do to create something that's going to evoke the emotion, get the right people to apply?
Working with that, and it kind of goes back to Allison's question and talking about SEO and formatting for that. These are two like things for the actual job ad, is to go to Google AdWords, and what you can see is by putting in a couple of different words, we can see what people are searching as you're building these things together. So maybe if there's it does help with word choice that you're going to use. You will be able to know using that, and it's a free service. It's something that we all have access to, especially if you're not working with a marketing team on this specifically. You can go and find out what people are searching for and where. And that can make a big difference on your word choice, just to make sure that the wording is going to attract the right people.
Totally agree.
All right, I think we are right at the hour. Yeah.
That makes me sad a little bit.
Yeah, we could have done this for hours. There's so much material out there. And we should do another one of these and actually go deeper into certain skills, like technical skills, and go into those, because we could literally do one of these a week and just talk about very specific different niche jobs, because there's so much material. There's so many of these that are done poorly.
And IT, we could probably do 2 hours just on IT jobs.
Great.
On how to get that go. Well, I will let everybody know that this has been recording, and we're going to be sending a link to everyone that has registered today, and we'll make sure that you get that. If you still have questions, make sure you can still tweet them out. We'll get to those. And everyone who has attended is going to get a special offer from Indeed today. So I appreciate that. We do appreciate Indeed for sponsoring, and I appreciate everybody being here. Anything else, guys?
Nope, that's it.
Well,
Great stuff.
myself.
Thanks to everyone who joined us.
Thanks, guys.
Whoop, whoop.